Hello and welcome to Just Go With It, where we just watched Interview with a Vampire. My name is Ben. That is Jared. Jared, how'd you feel about this movie?
That's a great question, Ben. I knew nothing about this going in,
Neither did I.
so I was, a little apprehensive because the only vampire movies I've seen are the Twilight movies, Morbius. So not great vampire movies to go off of, but I did know this
Yeah.
had Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, a young Kirsten Dunst, Antonio Banderas, Christian Slater, so it had a good cast.
So it's got a cast, yeah.
And I was surprisingly entertained the whole way through. I really enjoyed
Okay.
this. I kept it kind of, not showing it. Like we didn't talk a lot during this movie because there wasn't a lot
Yeah.
like it's a very story heavy movie, and but I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I really liked the story. I loved the setting. I thought all the actors were fantastic. Like Brad Pitt killed it. Even Kirsten Dunst, like I don't know how old she was in this movie, but she did so good. Like she wasn't like an annoying child actor, which is hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like I can't look at this movie and go, that was outstanding. But at the same time, I was thoroughly entertained and invested the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those movies. And I think a lot of the older movies like that, another movie that strikes me like that is Princess Diaries
Oh, wait, you mean
or
Princess Bride?
God dang. Yes.
I love Princess Bride.
Yes, I meant Princess Bride.
I thought it was funny that we went into this movie after we rented it. After, like when we pressed play and lined it up, you were like, "So isn't this a comedy?" And I was like, "Wait, what? No,
No.
not in the slightest."
Okay, yeah. I went into this thinking it was a comedy. I don't know why. Why I thought that. And just nope.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
not at
don't get me wrong,
all.
I was laughing at parts, but not because it was a comedy. It was just
Yeah,
wild in places.
it was pretty wild in some places. Um, but I really enjoyed this, like way more than I thought I
Mm-hmm.
would. I had a good,
Yeah.
solid time with it. Even at the end, I was kind of like, "That's it." Like, I kind of want to see a little more. Like, I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see I don't- it's like I want to see it. I don't know if I want to see a modern redo. I'd want to see like a sequel or something.
Well, there is a
You know,
show. There's a show now
is it
on
is
like
it canon?
Showtime or something like that. It's separate to this. It's like I don't know if it's a remake and does more because there was more than one book in the series. This is based off a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this just follows the first book or if it takes bits and pieces from others, but I would be really interested to learn more about this universe and learn more about these characters, and see what happens, with, well, I won't say anything else before we get into spoilers, but.
Yeah. And this is again. It's hard to talk about this without spoilers. We kind
Mhm.
of already said how we feel about it, and I don't know. I think should we just do worth your time?
Yeah, yeah. I think solid movie, solid story, solid cast. I think it's definitely worth your time if you're into this sort of thing. Like there's still a chance that you might know nothing about this, like because I mean I
Yeah.
knew nothing. Nothing was spoiled for me. I knew none of the plot lines. The only thing I knew was Kirsten Dunst was in it. At one point, she says, "I want some more," and that was from Deadpool. So that's it's the only reason
Good
I
night, my
know.
sweet prince.
So what about you, Ben? You think?
I would say yes. This I didn't feel like this was a waste of time.
Mhm.
Again, it's not something that I would necessarily go out of my way and be excited to see, but I wasn't disappointed that I saw it. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd say it's worth your time.
yeah.
All right,
Okay, let's start
spoilers.
spoilers. Never in a million years did I expect Kirsten Dunst was going to be a little bit in the movie.
Really?
No, I did not think that was the way the movie was going to go at all. Like
Oh my goodness.
being Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt's surrogate daughter. Like that
Yeah,
just,
this movie was very sensual
it was
in
in
many
so many
places.
ways. Like where at the very end when Louis like grabs Armand's face and like gets really close to tell him like what he wants to do. I'm like, they're about to make
Are
out.
they gonna
They're
kiss?
gonna make out right now.
I was like, huh? I was so many times I just expected to break out into like a makeout session. I'm like, there's like some tension here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's wild. Some of it
Um,
was hilarious. Like the part where they're like, "We do sleep in a coffin." It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
what?
I love that when the writer, the modern day guy, is like asking the questions like so crosses, like crucifixes, or like stake through the heart, coffin. And at first I thought he was just gonna like, knock that off too. And he's like, no, coffins, we do gotta sleep in those. Like I like how some things were a rule and others weren't. Um,
I was gonna say I like the way they portrayed them. They weren't like inherently evil or anything like that.
mhm,
They were bad people, but I mean like as in like how I put this, like mystical evil, like magical evil. They were
yeah,
just like beings
yeah,
who did bad things.
yeah,
It was sort of in their nature. It wasn't that they were like, spawn of, demons or something like that. No, they were just people,
yeah. And I mean, I liked
which
how
is
Louis
interesting.
tried to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Even though at the end he was kind of forced to still have to, take human life, but it was like he just did what he had to. He didn't take more than what he had to.
And I'm curious. So like there was a scene where the girl couldn't turn that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because she was is that why they don't typically turn children? Because
No,
children don't turn correctly
maybe.
and there's like issues and maybe that's why she couldn't. I don't it was interesting and I was like was that meant? But also like Louis like Lisette said that everyone has like a gift,
Yeah,
like something that they're good at or like an ability or something like hearing thoughts or I gather that Lisette was like power of persuasion because he seems to persuade people very easily.
yeah.
Um, and what was Louis? The only thing I think Louis was different was he still had some humanity in him.
I think that was
So was
probably
that
it.
like
Maybe because
that
like
was his
empathy,
thing?
I think empathy. That's what I would gather. But
I don't know. I would love to learn more about this. This is interesting.
I know it was really interesting. I really want to read the book or listen to the audiobook and then
Mm-hmm.
like the second one, you know, or maybe eventually check out the series because this, I don't know, I'm intrigued because at the end, it ends with a kind of cliffhanger. Like Louis just disappears, and then the writer is driving away on and listening to the tape, and then all of a sudden, Lestat just comes back, and
I love that it was that. It's
yeah,
like just out of the blue, you were not, it was just like, oh, like
yeah,
I thought it was going to be Louis,
yeah, I did too. But I
and it
don't
was
know.
just
I like that it
stats,
was
just
him,
like,
and then you could see he started to look like himself again after he took that. And
mm-hmm.
he's going to give him the choice. So, like, what's going to happen to the writer? Now a modern day person
He's
is going to be a vampire, so it's going to be a little different.
well, you got to think Lestat chose Louis to begin with because he was like, hey, Louis is a rich dude who has nothing to live for. If I get in good with this guy, I'll be set.
Yeah.
But the problem with Louis is that he still had humanity.
Mm.
So him going after this guy is like, okay, this guy wants to be a vampire. This guy has some money. He knows what's going on in the modern world. He has a nice car, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's like a known what's the word I'm looking for?
Journalist.
There you go, journalist. So like he's kind of doing the same thing, picking somebody who has sort of higher status and taking advantage of them so that he can lead a better life.
Yeah. And it was kind
Which
of
is,
cool
I think,
seeing Tom Cruise in a villainous role because he usually doesn't take
yes,
those kind of roles, like him being the bad guy. In
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so funny seeing these characters and going, that's Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
or that's just like looking at all these people that we've seen a billion times and going, yo, they portrayed that very well. Like you just forget that that's like a famous actor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
And
even,
also they were a lot younger, but
yeah.
like,
Yeah. But I
but
mean, Brad
still, it was
Pitt
just like,
killed it
dang,
too. Like he
oh
did such a
yeah,
good job.
And you said it during the movie, but Kirsten Dunst, her acting was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, there were some scenes where she got really emotional and stuff and angry, and she was like keeping on par with Tom Cruise, and I was like, she's doing really good, like doing good.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like because she was a little girl, there were points where she acted like a little girl.
Yeah.
Then like fast forward, it was like 30 years later, and it's like the way she talked, not all the time, but
Mhm.
like when she was talking serious, she sounded like an adult.
Yeah,
Like in just the manner she talked. And I thought that was very interesting in how she was able to do that.
yeah,
You know, she is a little girl in real life.
yeah.
Well, I say little, she's probably in her teens. But you know what I
She
mean.
looked like 12-ish there, maybe even younger.
12 is 1 year away from teen.
Okay. Um, I really don't have anything else to say. I'm ready to rate it if you are.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say anything because this thing, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll let you go. I need a
Okay.
second to think about it. I want to get your thoughts.
I will give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time, and I think the acting was great. I loved the setting. Like I said, like setting it in like the 1700s and then going to the 1800s. Oh, and there was one thing I have to mention. At the end, when Brad Pitt's like, after 200 years, I finally got to see the sunset again. He just like starts to love cinema. I
Aww.
was like, oh, okay, he's just gonna become a little cinephile now. Like that's great.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm I'm giving this a solid torn. I'm gonna say 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
I'm like I can't say 6, but I can't say 7, so I'm going 6.5. We don't usually do halvesies, but like it's over the mediocre threshold of 5.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say it's like, yeah, let's watch that 8.
Yeah.
You know, it's a oh, I happen to watch this, and it's like decent
Hmm.
6.5.
Yeah.
You know, that's
For
how I
me,
feel
it's
about it.
more like if I rated it lower, it would be because like I don't really care to see what else happens in this universe or this world, you know. But like because even after this like 2 hour movie, I'm like I want to see more, you know. That gives it like the extra point for me. I'm like, okay, this really has grabbed me, and I want to know more. I
See,
want
for
some
me,
more.
for me, it's like I'd be down to see more. I'm
Hmm.
not like clamoring for it. I feel like the story was kind of wrapped up,
Hmm.
and it's sort of like the ending was like, okay, now it's a new story. You know, it's not
Yeah,
like what's still happening in this story because this story kind of ended. You know,
yeah,
so I felt like it was a nice wrapping point, and I would not be hurt if I didn't see anything else from it.
yeah. Okie doke. Well, Ben, are you ready to hear what we're watching next?
I don't think I know, do I?
I don't
Because
think you
this was
know
like the
either.
one off.
Yeah, this is the one off. We're doing another one off next, but it's
Oh, do
for
we?
that movie. The
Is it?
Fall Guy is coming out next week.
Ooh,
And
ooh,
the
okay.
director, he directed Deadpool 2, but he also directed something else. And surprisingly, it's another Brad Pitt movie. We're gonna watch a movie called Bullet Train, which I have
Okay, yeah, you did tell me.
really,
Yeah,
really
okay.
wanted to watch. I've not seen it. I've
You said it's
heard,
like an action movie,
yeah, fun action movie apparently.
so
So
you
it's gonna be,
haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I've heard it's very fun, very
Okay.
action. It's got a good cast. I'm excited. So I hope we like it. I hope it's good
Yep.
because I really want to see the Fall Guy. I hope that's good. But either way, we're gonna watch them, and we're just gonna have to go with it.